British officials have joked that the European Union is not respecting the post-Brexit level playing field as the bloc uses the UK to bolster its fight against climate change. Boris Johnson this week set out the most ambitious plans to tackle climate change in the world. The Prime Minister vowed to cut carbon emissions by more than 3/4 by 2035, insisting that the UK will lead the way in green technologies. This has prompted a modern-day space race between Downing Street and Brussels, a contest that both parties view as a success story. Said one insider, "It is man on the moon." While Britain set out plans to cut emissions by 78% by 2035 compared to 1990 levels, EU nations have agreed to slash their rates by at least 55% in a similar timescale. No TEN's climate announcement was seen as a helpful gesture by Eurocrats to help get a largely divided EU on board with their climate ambitions. Mr. Johnson has always viewed the UK's presidency of the COP26 climate summit as the ideal way to market post-Brexit Britain as a force for good across the world. His negotiators refused to goad and torment their EU counterparts over the bloc's often flawed climate goals during the future relationship talks. Lord Frost's team of wranglers could have opted to take advantage of the EU's struggles to build a consensus on climate goals during the negotiations over the so-called level playing field in the Brexit trade deal. But insiders said Downing Street was keen to avoid the row because it wanted to build a unified approach ahead of the COP26 conference in Glasgow later this year. Brussels is often dragged down by eastern states, such as Poland and Czech Republic, that say they aren't ready to ditch their coal-fueled power stations. COP26 chief Alok Sharma has struck up an unlikely relationship with European Commission Executive Vice President Frans Timmermans. The Dutchman is responsible for the EU's climate change goals and holds regular video conferences with his British counterpart. Mr. Timmermans said, "We want Europe to be the first climate-neutral continent by 2050, but we need to inspire others around the world to follow the same path. So a bit of competition in the race to zero emissions between the UK and the EU is good for all of us in the end. The more countries join this race, the better." Insiders say the Prime Minister's pledge to cut emissions was hugely helpful in convincing rogue EU states to come on board with the bloc's climate plans. One source said, "This was a big help. It meant that European leaders like Macron or Merkel could point to the UK to get the 55% target across the line. They could say, 'Look, we can't let Brexit Brits beat us on this.'" Unlike the bitter EU-UK row over vaccines, both sides believe the friendly competition over climate will help spur him on.